From the deepest reaches of the interwebs are two guys here to reveal the secret sauce in helping you develop multiple streams of internet cash flow. Share the knowledge without all the hype. It's the Internet Income Show.
Oh, I like that.
Now get ready for two regular dudes helping you become a smarter entrepreneur, get more out of life, and set you on the right path to becoming happily unemployable. Your host, Dr. Mike and Eric Louviere.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mike with episode 22 of the Internet Income Show. Thanks guys for hitting that download button and listening in. We've got a great call this week. Got my good friend Rob Burns. Rob is a San Diegan, a fellow San Diegan, and we've been corresponding. We've been going to the same events. Never really had a chance to meet him until like recently when we've been involved in a mastermind group down here. And he's been on the call. I've talked to you about the importance of being in a mastermind. And he recently came out with a really cool product that he's going to be talking about, and that has to deal with the world of press releases. And I've talked about it in the past in terms of when we've been looking at traffic. You know, press releases is one of the best bangs for the buck that you can do for your own products, making your announcements and such. But he's got a really cool twist that he's recently launched that I wanted to share with you guys today on the call. So, Rob, are you on the call?
I'm on the call.
Thank you, sir. So, first of all, before we get to it and get to the nitty-gritty about the importance of press releases, why don't you just quickly just tell me how you got started in this? I assume you didn't go to a university majoring in press releases, or maybe you did. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of funny. So actually, way back in the early '90s, we owned a company called Banyan Publishing, and we did a lot of PR and marketing for hotels and resorts, and we actually had pretty much all the national hotel chains, and that's really where we cut our teeth, you know, on the PR end. And when September 11th hit, it pretty much, I'd say, 2 days after September 11th, every CFO from every major hotel chain, called me up and just basically said, "Hey, nobody's traveling for a year, so cancel our contract." So we had to shut down. So, which, you know, I would never say September 11th was a good thing, but it was kind of one of the best things that ever happened to us, just for the fact that because we had like a 5,000 square foot commercial printing plant, and it was just like it was this big giant beast. It was just kind of out of control, and it wasn't, for me, it wasn't pure marketing. It was more just this giant thing that I had to manage. So so in that respect, it was good. So it kind of allowed me to get back into kind of just doing kind of the pure marketing thing, and which I evolved into doing SEO and internet, just then internet marketing stuff started kicking in, and then so for the last 15 years I've been doing internet marketing / SEO type stuff. It's funny, one of our first things we got in internet marketing is I had a hot sauce company, and
oh really?
Yeah, and it was and so we decided to sell online. And I actually won the International SCOBY Awards, which is like the biggest hot sauce contest in the world, and then we kind of leveraged that. And, but it's funny because it's just to tell you how old I am. Like our first online business, like they actually had to mail us checks in because they didn't really have shopping carts that people could use back then. So they would mail us checks in, and we'd mail out cases of hot sauce. So.
Yeah, you were around as old as me. I remember when I got started, there was no PayPal, and same thing. And I was so stupid, I didn't even know about PO boxes. I just said, just send a check to my home address.
That's exactly So it was kind of funny. It was a much bigger world back then. Now it's everything's smaller and faster.
So were you doing PR work for your own products, or were you doing it for other clients?
Well, when we shut down Banyan Publishing, I really kind of evolved more into the the internet marketing end of things, and we used PR a lot actually, but we weren't doing PR for clients. One of the things too is my wife, so she she actually took a year off and wanted to figure out what she wanted to do with her life, and what's her next kind of career move and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, yeah, just take a year off, do some research, figure it out. So she came back and she says, well, I want to be a professional organizer. And at the time I was like I'd never even heard of that, and it wasn't as popular as it is now. And I was outwardly I was like, oh, that's great, I support you. And mentally I'm thinking, man, I hope she gets set up her system quick so we can do something to make some money. So yeah, but we couldn't really do SEO or online marketing because nobody really knew what PR was. I mean, not PR, but professional organizers were. Mm-hmm. So we actually used PR and kind of went back to the old school thing and started just creating stories and we would send in stuff to the media. First we kind of started out in local newspapers, and she'd do articles, kind of organizing for back to school or spring cleaning your garage, things like that. And we really kind of, and every time she got picked up, we created a media room on our website. And so the more she did, the more the actual, it actually got to a point where we didn't even send out PRs because journalists were starting to use the web, to do their research. And so then she got on local news, and then she got on, some national shows. She got on Good Morning America and Martha Stewart Radio, and got an Oprah magazine. And
oh wow,
yeah. Then that actually led to her starting to do paid keynote stuff, and so now she gets paid like $5 to $7 grand, to do keynotes for. I think she's done them for like Intuit and Hewlett Packard and. Different groups like that where she'll come in, for their conferences and do stuff like that. So it was pretty cool because it was, an alternative, method of marketing that had nothing to do with whether or not you ranked on Google. But, so that was cool. And then, and then once professional organizing really did start become something that people started searching for, some of the TV shows came out that kind of brought some visibility to it. Then we used press releases to actually start ranking and start driving traffic that way too. So it's really kind of a two-pronged approach.
So let's double back and talk about press releases and on our podcast. We got a whole number of different experiences in terms of our community, in terms of level of what they know. And we've got some people who are advanced, and we've got people who are still beginning, and they may be thinking, what a press release is. Well, that sounds like something that you submit to a newspaper. Maybe you can help educate us on what exactly is a press release, and more importantly, why should we be interested in using one?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's really kind of a few different things. And there's actually there's something called a press release, and then there's something called a news release. And I'm actually a hybrid of both. It used to be way back in the day. You would submit a press release and you were trying to get a journalist's attention, because you sent them something interesting that was, newsworthy, and then you would hope that the journalist would pick that up and write about you or whatever. And, hopefully it would be something good. And sometimes they would pick you up, and then sometimes when they did pick you up, it was good. And other times they'd flip it and it could be bad. So, or something like that might just take them off enough to do something like that. So, and you would get exposure that way. I would say in the mid to late 90s, some services came out, and it's actually more what we would call a news release. And basically what that did is, because the internet became so prevalent and there was so many different ways to get your message out on the internet that it completely bypassed the journalist, and it went straight, you could write a press release that went straight to, the people that you were actually trying to reach, in the long run anyway. And so a news release is really kind of written for somebody, the ultimate person that you're trying to get a hold of, after, say, whereas, a press release, you have to go through, have a journalist write about you, and then it goes to, the people that you want it to see. So it kind of just bypasses right over the top of a journalist and gets the news out that way. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So what exactly should be what are some of the ingredients a press release should have in it if it wants to get attention?
Yeah, I would say 70% of a press release is your title, believe it or not, because for a couple of reasons. If you don't have a good hook, nobody's going to click on it. So even if, from an SEO standpoint, if a press release shows up, if it's something that's just kind of dull and not engaging, then they're not going to click on it. So so your title, is always going to be kind of the first and foremost most important thing. You want to give somebody a reason to read the rest of your press release. So, and then I would say probably second most important is the summary, which is just a few sentences to a short paragraph description of summarizing what that press release is about. So those are, I would say, the two most important things, as far as ingredients. The body, believe it or not, the body of the press release is probably the third most important. And then, all the kind of supporting materials. With PR Reach, you can do things like you can add PDFs or downloadable documents and images. And so, if you are trying to contact the media, then, any kind of image, any kind of stuff that helps support your press release is going to be great for them, because they can use that collateral material to help, support the story. You can embed, as long as it's not self-playing on ours, you can actually embed a video, your own video on there. And then we do, and this is kind of what makes us different from all the other PR companies, is we actually, every press release that you do, we have an anchor person in a newsroom that actually reads off your press release, and we make a video of that, and then we embed that video inside the press release. So it's we're actually kind of the world's first video press release company.
Very good. So you're listening to the Internet Income Show. I'm with Rob Burns, founder of PR Reach, which is a press release PR company, and he's talking to us today about press releases. So we'll just talk about PR Reach in just a moment. But in terms of press releases, I assume most people who submit press releases, they're putting a link to their main website, or are they linking to specific areas of your website? What have you seen?
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of stuff, but that doesn't necessarily make it good. What I recommend is, and let me know if I'm going above somebody's head as far as this level, as far as knowledge levels or whatever. But what I recommend, and this is through all the testing that we've done, is actually using no anchor text links, but using all naked links. And that's just your full URL. Now you can have your keywords inside of that URL, and I recommend that for a couple reasons. One is I think those links are more valued because I think everybody's there's an over anchor text penalty now for sites since Panda and Penguin and all that good kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the other is because of that over anchor text penalty. So say you're a fairly new site, and you put a bunch of links in your press release that are have a specific anchor text. When our press releases go out, you're going to probably get 3,000 to 6,000 backlinks pointing to you. So if you have a new site and you have 3,000 to 6,000 anchor text backlinks pointing to your site, that page, then you're pretty darn guaranteed that you're going to get some kind of little, you're going to throw up some flags somewhere. So I think, and I think that Google's LSI is so sophisticated that it doesn't matter. We've actually experimented and sent out press releases that didn't have a keyword on that press release, and Google still figured out what the theme of the press release was, and they that it ranked for certain key phrases that weren't even on that page, or they weren't tagged or anything like that. So so as far as linking on there, I recommend a naked link. I suggest deep linking. Don't always just link to your homepage. Link to a relevant page on your site, because that's going to support. That's going to. Again, it looks more natural, and it supports the overall. It's going to make your overall strength of your site, much better. That's not a very good technical explanation, but a caveman explanation. And what we recommend is we recommend one link to your site,
right,
and then 2 links out to authority sites that are almost like citation sites, and it'll actually give that first link, we believe, more juice, just because it's showing that you're not just trying to do some kind of link spam thing. But the cool thing is you can that doesn't mean you can't link out to, say, your Facebook page profile or your YouTube, a YouTube video, or something like that. So because those are counted as authority sites. So what I would probably do is link, one link, deep link to my site, and then 2 links that are outbound to one of some of your social media profiles.
Can you give us an example of a citation site?
Yeah. So a citation site, and that might not be the exact term, but basically a site that is that's going to support your press release as far as whatever material they have on there. So, it may be, something that's lateral. You don't want to link out to your competition. If you have an e-commerce site or something.
That wouldn't be good.
Something that that talks about and supports, like Wikipedia would be a great citation site.
Gotcha.
So you can link out to Wikipedia for something that relates to whatever you're talking about in your press release. So,
when I've been teaching students about marketing, and especially coming with the topic of press release, the common question that I get, I'm sure you get as well, is, I don't have anything memorable, or I don't have anything newsworthy to put in a press release.
Yeah.
What are some examples you could give?
Yeah, so that's a great one. And I actually, if you go to prreach.com/blog, or I don't know, I probably shouldn't be giving links without checking first, but anyway, I have a little pop-up, and you can basically, when you add your email, you get a form, and it's 108 reasons to write a press release. So,
okay.
So great. People are kind of like, well, what, because that is one of our biggest challenges. Another good way is something we call launch jacking, or not launch jacking, but news jacking, which we use news jacking to do launch jacking. But and that's basically where you go to Google News or Yahoo News and just type in a search phrase that's relevant to your press release or your product, and see what happens in the news. And then basically what you can do is you can do a press release that is, that basically plays off of whatever that news subject is, and you can make yourself kind of an authority where you're basically putting a press release out, and you're commenting on whatever activity is going on, in the news that relates to whatever your subject is. There was a guy I know that created, it's basically like the world's best vaporizer, and so he was like, well, how do I write press releases about vaporizers? And I just go to Google News and type in medicinal marijuana, and I go there's a ton of stuff that you can write about there, and so that's basically that's a great way. You can also use Dig and Reddit and see what's trending, what are the top trending. That's a great way to how to write good titles too, is to go to Dig, Reddit, Google News, and type in whatever your search phrase is, and see what's trending and what's top trending. What are the top trending titles?
That's a great tip. Also, probably you can also use Google Alerts if you want something more passive.
Yeah, exactly.
And to see what comes on. But great tip, because using the Reddit, you can, and the Dig, see what are getting upvoted, and those are the ones that are will catch people's attention.
I don't even know if it's active anymore, but I used to use a lot of times Google Zeitgeist.
Oh yeah.
And I would see if there's anything that's really trending that's relating to my subject material, and then go after that too. So that's another one. Yeah,
and it doesn't really have to be directly related as well.
Yeah,
something that maybe you can have a twist to it, and then it gets back to talking about your product or service. So.
Yep. Yeah, just as long as it relates.
So is the goal for press releases simply just to create backlinks, or are we looking for certain companies like Google News, for instance, to pick up our press release?
Yeah, the whole reason I really created PR Reach was because I wanted to do something that's first of all that actually works, because there's so many internet marketing hustlers out there that just creates this widget and sell it and then they're gone, kind of thing. But I also wanted something that kind of stood the test of time and had more than it was effective in more than one way. So if you talk to Matt Cutts, the minister of Google disinformation, then he's going to say, well, press releases don't work and backlinking doesn't work. But a friend of mine, Daniel Tan, actually, I don't know if you saw that article where basically Matt Cutts put out this article saying that, and then Daniel Tan basically ranked that article using only press releases to show that
that's hilarious.
So that's one thing, and I'm really careful in all of my marketing materials. I don't ever say, hey, we're the SEO press release, doing that because, there's other companies out there that we know of that were, huge at one time that basically said, hey, we're the SEO press release company. And then Google looked at the material and said, no, you're not. And just basically made the whole site disappear. So
wow.
I'm probably more SEO'd out than anybody else out there, but I don't ever really advertise that because it's not, it's not a good thing. A few other things that are really good is, actually using it to contact the media. So, because you're going to get big hits that way. And, sometimes, depending on how you write the press release, you may want to, get it like there's services, like Bulldog Reporter where you can actually get lists of media journalists and send that press release, directly to those people that are like hyper focused related to your subject matter or in your general area. But we also, we're on Associated Press and Reuters and LexisNexis and all those news wires too. So you can actually get picked up by journalists. We also built in a kind of a big social media component to ours where when our press releases go out, it also goes out through a feed that goes to all these different this social media kind of network that we built out. And social mentions are really good because it's kind of like the new backlinking supposedly, where getting a certain percentage of social mentions pointing back to your press release is a good ranking factor. Plus, you're in front of eyeballs and you get traffic. And then the one thing that kind of makes us different than any other press releases, besides the social media thing, is the video thing, where every press release company out in the world, is when you send out a press release, it's somebody talking about their thing, but we're the only one that actually has somebody talk about you in a video. So, you're kind of third party vetted, which is great because then you can take that and put it on your website. If you want to, kind of build some reputation or authority branding type stuff. And then you can also use press releases for the authority branding, where when you get a report back, basically it shows all, a good chunk of the pickups where they're at. A lot of them are local, news stations like ABC and CBS and Fox and newspapers and things like that. And then once you get those pickups, then you can actually, I'm sure you've seen those people where they put the logos on their sites and as seen on CBS or NBC. Sure. And that increases the price of your real estate. You put that on your site and your competition does it, then you're worth more. And so that's kind of cool. And if people that are just starting out, if they want to build a little newsroom or kind of show all the medias where they've been picked up, with their press release, you can take our videos and embed that on there, and that gives you a good start too. So that's kind of cool. And you can use those videos to video market too, which is I don't know if you teach your students how to any of that kind of stuff, but videos rank videos rank really well, so you can use the videos themselves to actually rank.
So as we're talking about PR reach, we have to mention them, the big companies that are out there that doing PR, like PR Web is probably the most famous on there. In addition to what you mentioned, how do you differentiate yourself for some of the big boys that are out there?
Yeah. PR Web was the one that, I basically built PR Reach just to kick PR Web's butt. And they were the ones that were, hey, we're the SEO, we're the SEO press release company. And then Google said, nope, you don't exist, and they actually de-index it for a couple.
Wow.
So yeah. So a few things is the social media component. Our syndication, we have tier 1 syndication, and so that's the highest level as far as Reuters and Associated Press and things like that. And then we also have I have a bunch of partnerships with other syndication sources that get them on different channels and leverage those sources too. So we probably have as much or more reach than a lot of those big ones, and right now we're about a fifth the price. So that really separates us. And the reason I built it and the way I built out PR Reach was that we're super flexible, because those guys have been established for so long, and there's such infrastructure that's built into their systems that they can't really change with the web, and they can't really adjust what they're doing to kind of make themselves as relevant as possible. And the way we build things out are, if things don't work, then we get rid of them, and if there's new things that pop up, then we add it to our systems, because we're really just trying to get as the biggest, broadest reach that we can possibly.
Any success stories for people who've been using the PR Reach?
Yeah, I just got one a week or two ago where a guy sent me an email that they were doing a Kickstarter for it was some kind of thing where they were actually trying to raise funds to lobby Congress, because they were having something where I think it had to do with horses and wild horses being killed or something like that, and they were trying to pass a law to protect these horses, and they were doing this Kickstarter, and they said that the Kickstarter just kind of sat there for like a month and just did nothing. And they put out a press release, and I guess a congressional aide saw the release and ran it past the congressman, and the congressman called him up, and then the congressman kind of put his weight and support behind it, and all of a sudden the Kickstarter blew up, and they actually exceeded their goal. And then
wow.
And then because of the congressman got involved, and they had a bunch of media hits, and everything just took off, and that was just from one press release when they were sitting dead in the water. Full disclosure, I don't think that's going to happen to everybody all the time, but it was pretty cool that we got to do a really good thing, and it was just through press releases.
I love the way that PR Reach incorporates social media. I mean, that's so important. We have a special link for our audience for the Internet Income Show. If you go to internetincomeshow.com/PR, internetincomeshow.com/lowercase-pr, and you can get started with as little as just one press release a month on there as well. So go ahead and check that out. I don't know how low you're going to keep these pricing, so you probably want to run over there and see if that's right for you. Rob's a good guy and really runs a professional organization there, and just really is I think you're underestimating his Rob, your knowledge of the SEO world, because I know you've been doing this for a long time. So appreciate you getting on the call with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Any last minute thoughts that you want to share about either PR Reach or press releases in general?
Yeah, I would say kind of use it to its full extent. Don't use it just for SEO, or don't use it just for news. And whatever you put out, put out quality stuff. Don't do kind of the spammy article stuff, because you never know who's going to see it. Even if it's just they see it online, quality converts. Whereas if it's just some kind of spammy thing, then even if they see it, it's probably not going to do you much good. So
awesome stuff. Again, if you want to check it out, go to internetincomeshow.com/PR, and you have all the information there for you to get started on press releases. I use press releases in my business. Again, it's the best bang for the buck that you're ever going to use in terms of building traffic, building clients, building new customers for your business. So, Rob, thanks again for joining us, and I want thanks, and I want to say thanks for everybody who listened to us, and as always, keep moving forward.
You just listened to the Internet Income Show with Dr. Mike and Eric. Now, get to work.